Okay, so I would like to welcome all in the third international convocation on the green environment, technology, and entrepreneurship through innovation, advancement in the intelligence application and innovation approach. Welcome you all. I would like to call Dr. PVS Raju sir, Director ACOST, MET University, Rajasthan. Sir, welcome. Up to you, sir. Now for the welcome note, sir. Thank you, sir.
Very good morning. Thank you, Dr. Rakhi. Very good morning and welcome to day 3, session 4 on advanced. On the session 4 on advances in intelligent applications and innovative approach. Today, I would like to introduce distinguished guest, Dr. Emmanuel Shubhakar Pilli. Dr. Emmanuel is currently as Associate Professor in the Department of Computer Science of Engineering in Malviya National Institute of Technology, Jaipur, since May 2008. He has completed MTech in Computer Science from Birla Institute of Technology, Ranchi in 2001 and PhD from IIT Roorkee on his research topic, a framework for network forensic analysis in 2012. He has been awarded ISEA Fellowship by the Department of Information Technology, Government of India, for his research in information security. Dr. Emmanuel has 26 years of teaching, research, and administrative experience. He has served as a coordinator, Indian Institute of Information Technology, Kota, since January 2023, Honorary Dean, Network and Hardware, Rajasthan ILD Skill University, Jaipur, since June 2019, Associate Dean Research, MNIT, Jaipur, since July 2022, Officiated Head, Department of CSE, MNIT, Jaipur, from June 2019 to June 2021, and also a coordinator for Electronics and ICT Academy, hosted by MNIT, hosted at MNIT, sponsored by Ministry of Electronics and IT, Government of India, since December 2015. He has supervised 8 PhD theses, 44 MTech dissertations, and around 34 BTech projects. Currently, he is guiding 7 PhDs and 3 MTech students in the area of his interest: security, forensics, cloud computing, big data, IoT, blockchain, and quantum computing. He has published more than 100 research papers in international journals and conferences of repute, which is indexed in Scopus and SCI. So he is also a member of editorial board of Forensic Science International, Digital Investigation Elsevier, and Academic Outreach Chair, Digital Forensic Research Workshop 2022. He has co-authored 2 research references books: Fundamentals of Network Forensics, a research prospectus published by Springer in 2016, and Cloud Security Attacks, Techniques, Tools, and Challenges, CRC Press 2022. As a senior member of both IEEE and ACM, a life member of Computer Society of India, Cloud Computing Innovation Council of India, and Quantum Ecosystem Technology Council of India. With this, I warmly welcome Dr. Emmanuel for his keynote speech. Over to you, sir.
Welcome, sir. Good morning, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much for your kind words of introduction, and thank you for inviting me to be part of this third international conference. I would like to share the screen. Thank you. I would be speaking on a very new topic which we can think of. Of course, we have heard of many of these words that we are able to see, but some of the things that we... Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Your screen
my
is visible.
video is clear.
Yes, screen is perfectly visible.
Yeah. there is some problem with the screen. Okay, are you able to see me? Yeah, fine. Okay, yes. So we are looking at dark web, which is the basic aspect that we tend to understand, which is the background behind applications like torrent, right? As we see, and dark web. That's what we're trying to look at. Some of the issues, some of the challenges, and what is the protocols that run behind, because it's very much part of computer science that we can try to look at, right? So as we tend to look at, this is what I would like to discuss with you and just give you an overview of what's happening. Introduction to dark web, then anonymous communication networks, I2P, Freenet, and Tor. Contrasting use of the contrasting use of the dark web, positive aspects of the dark web, negative aspects of the dark web investigation, the monitoring tools and approaches, and challenges for law enforcement agencies, and some sources of information that I'd like to discuss. Right? So we look at introduction to dark web. So basically, we look at this surface web that we talk about, which is simple as we look at the websites that we can search. So anything like Google or Bing or some of these sites that we visit, YouTube, everything is there on what is called the surface web. Then when we look at the dark web, it requires a login to access. So some of these email services or banking portals, they are in what is called the deep web. And lastly, we have what is called the dark web, and it is derived from the name is derived from darknet, which are basically infrastructure overlays, right, that prevent public access. And then if you need to access, you need a specific set of software that you need to access. This is how you can look at. This is the diagram that you can have when you tend to understand how these look like, right? So there are, this is the surface web, right? The web C that we look at, this is the surface web where there's Wikipedia, Amazon, and Google and other things. And slowly we have the deep web where you have some, government, these things, and the banking and all that. And then the dark web, which is like the WikiLeaks kind of application that we look at, right? So this is something that comes as the dark web, right? So this, if you want to access this dark web, you need to have a specific set of software that we have. So we want to differentiate between what is surface web, what is deep web, and what is dark web, right? You can try to look at the various aspects. Okay, I will share the slides. Maybe you can go through in detail, right? So the accessibility, the publicly accessible through search engines, not indexed by search engines, deep web, and there is requirement of a specialized software and configuration as we look at for the dark web, right? So the content also, as we look at, majority of the sites are informational or commercial and things like that. In the case of deep web, it contains unindexed content, maybe some private databases, sensitive government records, and things like that. Dark web, where you can have like some of the journalists would like to use, some of the the ethical activists that you can say, or people who maybe, of course, these are the positive users. And then as we look at some of the negative users also, you have some illegal marketplaces that you have, things like that are disturbing, right? So that is something that you can try to look at, right? So, and in dark web, you don't know who is the person who is behind that particular aspect, right? So that is something that you can look at, right? And then if you look at and then if you look at yeah, sorry for that. Right. So we look at anonymity, which is high in the case of dark web. Encryption, also, as you look at the dark web, involves a high level of encryption. The IP addresses are publicly available, but in the case of dark web, it is hidden or anonymous. User interaction also, as you look at some of the unethical activities because of the anonymous communication happens. And as you look at the legal status also, there are most of the legal content is available here on the surface web, but when we look at dark web, it is often associated with illegal activities, right? And basically a lot of anonymous communication. Okay, but so that's where people use, and maybe you also want to use anonymous communication, that you can do that. The size is extremely large and constantly growing in the case of surface web, but then it is small compared to the deep end surface web. The ownership, if you look at the ownership, is you can identify, but here it is anonymous ownership. And then as you see some of the sites that are there, those are the things that are here. Okay, and then the dark web is a subset of the deep websites that cannot be accessed using a regular internet browser. So it requires encryption, and then it requires special software like Tor or I2P or Freenet. These are protocols that we can look at. And then these were basically, it was developed again by, it was developed to help anonymize government intelligence communications. That was what dark web was used for. But of course, dark web is now being misused as well, right? So that is something that we tend to understand. And as we look at these aspects of, it takes care of the facilities like network routing capabilities that are designed initially to protect intelligence and data online. So you have a very strong examples of where you can have this underlying protocol called darknet, and where you can use that and it can show that, right? So that is something that you can look at. Yeah, and then it was developed to help anonymize government agencies, and then you can try to look at. So that's what Tor was basically used for. But slowly Tor also started being associated with illegal activities. You were selling drugs, weapons, and stolen data. And many legitimate users also, such as anonymous communication, securing secure data sharing, and private browsing. So it also helps us to do some of these things. And that is where is an advantage that we can try to look at. And the law enforcement agencies it becomes very hard for them to actually understand how to do that, and it becomes very difficult for them to start and investigate some of these things that you try to understand, right? So that becomes a very difficult aspect when we try to look at. So this is something that is a challenge as we look at. But then the basic reason why this dark web was created was to give protect privacy, keep the privacy very secure for the things, and keep it and then government can censor a lot of these agencies who are trying to do some illegal activities or things like that. So then they try to find out how to investigate them, and it becomes very difficult for them to find out who is behind it and who is doing it, right? So using this, you can do censorship resistance, if you look at, right? And that is the basic advantage that you look at. You have a lot of freedom of expression if you want to do that, and also you can have this mechanism of protection from retaliation, security and trust. All these things you can try to keep up, right? So that's what dark web provides, right? So if you look at how dark web started, it started with ARPANET initially, 1969. 79, the first computer virus, which was tried to attack the in ARPANET. Then 72 illegal online transactions, and so on, right? And the first ever spam mail in 78. 80, the World Wide Web was created. The military network was created in 83. DNS was created in 83. So as you look at, this was kind of the dark web scenario, right? So 1990, we have the ARPANET and other things coming, right? Then the dark webs actually started somewhere in 1990s, mid 1990s, you can think of. And then you have the deep and dark web teams were created, and slowly it was US Naval Research Laboratory which created this what do you call the Tor project and the protocol. So you can look at the Tor project, right, .org, and you can look at this. Then slowly BitTorrent came into the picture. one, some of you may have used BitTorrent extensively to download a variety of information, right? Slowly, Tor came into picture, then Freenet came into picture, then Silk Road also came into picture, which was trying to, it was like a anonymous, what do you call, Flipkart or Amazon, right? So you could buy many things which cannot be sold outside in the market, right? Like drugs or pornography or any of those things, right? So Bitcoin came in later, which was again financial transactions also becoming anonymous, right? So it's a powerful combination. If you put Tor and blockchain together, I'm working on both the areas. And it's very challenging to see that if you want to try to find out something about someone, it becomes very difficult to do that, right? So that's something we can look at, right? And then you can look at FBI 2015. After 4 years after Silk Road was launched, it was shut down, right? So, and then 2017, you have the WannaCry things coming in. But what is the background? What is the protocol by which we are running behind, right? So these are three protocols, which is I2P, Freenet, and Tor. So as you look at it, is anonymous communication protocols, right? So basically, it allows communication and information sharing without revealing an individual's identity or location, right? So that's the idea. And also protecting online activities from surveillance and censorship. Nobody can find out, and nobody can check, and nobody can find it out, right? So three protocols which are presently available are called Tor, I2P, that is Invisible Internet Protocol, and Freenet, right? So I2P is a darknet decentralized network, similar. So there are something. So they also have hidden services which are called EAP sites. I2P, so EAP, okay, EIIP, so EAP, right? So that's right. EAP sites are there. So so this is how the communication happens. I'll skip this part. We will go ahead. I'll share the slides. Freenet is also similar in that decentralized peer-to-peer network, right? And then here they are called free sites, right? So those are the things which are available. So there's a process by which you connect. Peer-to-peer connection is established, and data is shared with you, right? So then Tor is the most famous. That's what I want to dwell more on Tor. You can look up. Of course, the literature also is more on Tor and less on Freenet and I2P. But Tor is one of the most widely known and widely used networks, right? They're used for dark web. Tor is free and open source, so all of you can set up the Tor protocol. Basically, what you need to do is set up a Tor browser, right? So you can go to the torproject.org and set up a Tor browser, and then all your communications will be anonymous, right? So of course, you can browse Surface Web also, which gives you an anonymous feeling, like how we do the incognito mode that you can try to look at, right? How the incognito mode operates. That's how similarly this also operates. But then this browser is specifically used to browse .onion sites, right? So .onion sites are the sites which are hidden, which are not available directly. You can't type a .onion web address and access some information, right? So that's not possible. So the protocol that is used is called onion routing. So it's called the onion router because what happens is whenever you are sending the traffic is encrypted, and also it is sent through some relays which are not the usual computer network relays. So once the traffic enters into the network, then we don't have any access, right? So that's how it goes on. So when the user opens their web browser, the Tor software creates a circuit of 3 or more randomly selected nodes, as we see in the screen, right? This is the computer, and you want to access a particular website, right? You talk to the modem or the router, and then it goes to the internet service provider that you are connecting to. And from there, this goes and connects to a Tor entry node, right? So the Tor traffic that you send through Tor browser connects to a Tor entry node. Otherwise, it would have gone to another computer network. And then as we see, internet is network of networks. So it goes to some node, and from there it goes to some node. It moves like that, right? So here in this case, it goes to the Tor entry node, and after it enters this traffic is not known to us, right? So this is all encrypted traffic anyway, but at the same time, we don't know the address of this, and it follows some relay nodes. We don't know how many relay nodes it moves through. Then it finally comes to the exit node. So these 3 nodes are important. Maybe you can get access to the Tor node because the Tor node's details are available somewhere here. You'll be able to get this. And then once the packet comes to the website from this Tor exit node, maybe you get the address of the exit node, you can try to get Tor entry node and exit node, but the relay nodes addresses are very difficult. So from here where it goes, maybe tracked sitting here, if you're able to reach till here, you're able to do that. But then otherwise, all these things are anonymous. The packet goes from here, packet reaches the website. The website doesn't know where the packet is coming. The computer user doesn't know where the website is actually hosted, right? These are the nodes. So this is the kind of anonymous network that happens, right? So client sends to the entry node sends to some relay nodes, maybe multiple relay nodes. The multiple relay node sends to the exit node sends to the Tor node. So this is the kind of sequence that happens. Of course, there was graphics in it, but because of lack of time, we try to skip it. Anyway, this is what you can try to look at, right? So if you do it using what is called the VPN, what happens? You can see the difference. If you do it using HTTPS, this is how it happens. And then HTTPS, you have then you go to the link, and then you go to the link, and then finally you reach the. You are able to see the address where it is going, right? So when you go to VPN, right, similar things happen. So once it comes here, you don't know. Again, at the last endpoint of the VPN, you're able to see this address, right? Here, when the source in between, it is all, nobody can see where the packets are going. In the case of Tor, what happens, you see here, once the packet leaves, nothing is seen, right? At the exit node, again, you're able to see the address, and then it goes on, right? So in between, nowhere, nobody knows where the packet is coming from, where the packet is going. So that is what is Tor network, right? So you can visit the Tor project and try to understand how it goes and see some of those. So the contrasting use of dark web, there are two uses, legal users and illegal users. Basically, it was built for legal use. It was built that we will try to use for people who are journalists, for whistleblowers, for legal markets, for people, for lawyers to share information between them without somebody else knowing the data. It becomes very difficult, right? Social media sometimes, and there are a lot of social media which want to keep anonymous communication. So you get minorities or different people who are trying to create. So they can have people who are coming and getting that data. But there is an illegal side to it. Illegal side is that it becomes a shelter for cyber criminals, terrorists, and malware writers, human and animal trafficking, cyber frauds, illegal marketplaces for drugs, metals, and firearms, terrorists, gambling. All these things do take place. How is dark web usually represented? It is dark web is online criminal activity in brown. This is how much the online criminal activity is. Unindexed websites are only this much. Onion services are this much. So most of dark web is criminal activity. That's what dark web is usually represented. But as we look at, the onion services are different. The online criminal activity is different, and the dark web is only a small bit. Everybody thinks that online criminal activity is actually happening on the dark web only. No, it's not so. Dark web is basically an anonymous communication network, and many people use it for different things. But at the same time, there are a lot of unindexed websites also, but the dark web is only the intersection of all these three that you can look at, right? Actually, if you see the scale, the unindexed websites are so many, but the onion sites are only this much. We think actually onion services are equivalent to unindexed websites, but it is not true. The size is very same, but the online criminal activity is so much, but then which uses Tor is also less, right? But then, this is an area totally untouched, and nobody can do anything about it. So that's where our interest is, of trying to understand how we can try to look at it. So, of course, the positive aspects: anonymity, whistleblower protection, freedom of speech. This we have already discussed, positive aspects. Okay, and so basically, why was Tor come into picture, right? Tor came into picture to use the internet with much privacy, right? So browse privately was the thing, and then they wanted to provide anonymity, right, which helps us against surveillance and against censorship. Let us say there is a movement which is existing in a land, and then people want to suppress it. The government wants to suppress it. So, but then if you want to avoid censorship and avoid surveillance, then you can use dark web and communicate and do that, right? And then, of course, there are many problems of people doing fingerprinting, tracking, and surveillance. So you can try to do that, resistance that you can do that. So you browse freely, explore freely, and circumvent censorship. These are the main agenda with which this Tor protocol was created. It was created by US Naval Research Labs. It was used for military communication, and it is many of the countries use it. In fact, our country also uses a lot of these communication that happens on Tor, and they use it, right? So let me skip some of these parts because okay, now we'll come to hidden services, which are available on the dark web, right? So the websites that are hosted or the services that are hosted are called hidden services because they are not easily accessible by surface browsers, right? So that's what we can look at. So we have these, you need to use a Tor software to access it, and then multiple layers of encryption to ensure that anonymity is maintained. It incorporates a system of encryption, relays, peers to ensure that anonymity of both the server and the client. So in between, there are so many steps. So overlay networks are created, so you can't actually get to that. So the hidden services have unique domain names that end with .onion in case of Tor, .free site in case of this thing, and .im site in case of I2P. Anyway, so a lot of these illegal activities, and there's no traceback. Extremist content can be there. Child exploitation, like the child sex abuse material, right? We may be really upset about it, but there are so many people who want to access that content and pay money for that also, and there are people who are perpetrating also. And then where is this content placed? The content is placed in the Tor or in the dark web. That's what, and access through Tor. So so these are issues. There are a lot of malware and botnets also coming in, fraudulent services, cybercrime, frauds and scams. In fact, recently, a lot of credit card information is available. A lot of UPI information also recently was. ChatGPT user logins data was available on Tor. So these are, people were difficult to getting a ChatGPT login, right? But then the entire list of ChatGPT username and passwords were available in Tor. So it's a difficult scenario and system that we look at as we see this, right? And a lot of people are misusing, and a lot of these activities are coming up, right? So if you're broadly looking at, of course, I'll share the slides so you can go to the previous slides and read it in detail because of time constraints. I'm rushing through, but what are the illegal activities is a concern. Positive users, no problem. You want to use it for anonymity. You want to use it for privacy. You want to, send some information in a concealed manner with confidentiality. Absolutely use Tor browser. I was talking to some of the judges and police officers recently in Delhi in the National Forensic Science University. Many were asking, can we use it for normal use? I said, yes. That's what Tor is created for. But Tor is being misused. That's where law enforcement and judges should be concerned. Then they were also excited because they have a positive use of Tor. They want to communicate with peers. They want to communicate some information amongst law enforcement. How to do that? They can use Tor. So they were happy about it. But at the same time, I said, though there are positive sides of it, the illegal activities are many, like child pornography, drug trafficking. People are selling and buying drugs. Drugs are delivered to various people in India also, and many people consume drugs, but then nobody can trace, right? Orders are placed online. Physically, it has to be sent. Money can be transacted on blockchain. So this way, there is a lot of problem that we can look at. Arms and ammunition, you want to buy. I don't know how they are delivered, but they are delivered, and somehow that's something which is very difficult. So then credit card and debit card data, I was just talking about ChatGPT data like that. So many credit card users information and their pins and passwords are available. Cyber terrorism is also another use. Malware and cyber threats, the entire code of programs are available where you can launch your own threats, malware, your own, you can launch a DDoS attack, you can create a botnet, all these things. A lot of leaked data is available, and criminals have hackers for hire. Like you can have people who can kill on your behalf. You can pay some money and kill it. So you have hackers who can hack for money. So you can give them some money and tell them what to be hacked. They will hack it and give it to you. So these are some concerns. Like this is one site which is there. If you want a UK passport, somebody will get it created, and you can get a name of your choice, and you will get a passport issued. Right. So this is something which is really amazing. Some of these things that are there. A lot of drugs, you can get it. Dr. Chronic is shipping from USA. There is a onion link, as you see on top. This is the .onion link where you can go and get the UK passport, right? So this is something that you can look at, right? Similar here, this is the .onion website, right? So similarly, you can get on this Onion website, .onion website. You can get Dr. Chronic shipping from USA. So you have different material. Then you can buy it and then it can get dispatched, right? You have Alpha Bay Market. Again, you can buy many of these cocaine and some of these marijuana and all that, right? Ganjai that we talk about, right? So all these things can be accessed online. They'll be delivered to anywhere in the world to your home securely, right? Nobody will know that you're able to procure. These are things which are happening, and that's one thing. And this was the infamous Silk Road, which was available. A lot of these things were available. Later, this was taken off by FBI. FBI is, see, that's where you can look at. So this is something about the, so many $183 million, 183 million were involved. So many buyers were there, so many sellers were there, right? So a lot of Bitcoins were also done. So this is the lifeline 2011 to 2015, how FBI shut down Silk Road and how Silk Road became popular. This is the sequence. Anyway, you can read it later, right? So now, if I want to do investigation, what do I have to do, right? So what you need to do is you need to do the monitoring. You can collect some information. Basically, you need to become one node as a Tor node. You have to become a Tor user, right? And you should allow your system to be part of the Tor network, right? So you are actually facilitating anonymity, right? But then it can also be used for malicious purposes. So you need to be careful. You need to record it somewhere. So when we are doing research, we are trying to see for the precautions to be taken. And then cryptocurrency tracing. Traceback is very difficult in cryptocurrency transactions. There's so many transactions, but then when you have a large number of transactions from a single address, Bitcoin address, then you can try to build some logic, somewhere it is connecting to the network, so you can get to a geometric location where you can get that and do that, right? So, or you can monitor the dark web marketplaces, see all the hidden services, see what they are doing, how they are connected and all. Maybe over a period of time, we must build a mechanism where there are misuse of dark web. They must be dealt very seriously, and then their training and education to law enforcement also. So where do I get this information? I get it from the Tor network. And this is one thing that I get. The other is the darknet websites that I look at. The darknet websites will give me the information about some of these things. The Tor network will actually give me the dynamic hidden list, then the Tor relays that I can try to find out. As I tell you, the entry node and the exit node, if I can try to build those, then we can also try to correlate. So you get that information, and then you can try to create. But going to the real identity is a near impossibility, as I would say. But then, yes, we should keep trying. Otherwise, it will always be impossible. But I believe that nothing is impossible. So it's only a matter of time and resources and knowledge that we will try to gather, which will help us. So you need web scrapers and web crawlers. There are some automated tools which are available. Shortly, we are coming up with a paper, so you can follow us. And as you look forward, you will see some papers coming up in dark web where we'll be discussing some of the tools. These tools have not mentioned here, but of course it's very easy. You go into the Tor world and then you can find all this information, nothing new. But at least as we survey, as we install, as we go through this, we can look. So there are some OSINT tools, open source intelligence tools, which are there, and you can do that. Dark web, websites, right? Then you monitor them, right? So these are things that you can do. You can also set up honeypots, which are dark web honeypots that you can do that, and then you can do it. Dark web intelligence, where you are doing web scraping and data mining technique, and combine them together and try to build a dark web intelligence. There are specialized threat intelligence frameworks also. Slowly, we are also trying to build one framework. Slowly, we'll try to bring in that, right? Various approaches, again, you can bring in AI and machine learning. That's one aspect. Cryptographic transactions, so need a bit blockchain analysis. Network monitoring tools, many of them are there, open source, but different things do different things. So you can build an aggregation tool. You can do that. You can understand encryption and decryption also, which is very strongly built into dark web communication. You can try to set up some of these tools and see how it goes on, right? So for Magnet and Celebrite Encase for digital forensics, network analysis, Wireshark, blockchain. You can have Elliptic and chain analysis, OSINT tools, Spiderfoot, Maltego, Hunchly. So there are so many open source intelligence tools that will come in. You can try to look at dark web crawlers, AMIA and Onion Scan. You can set up these tools and first start grappling with what Tor is or what these websites are, right? And then you can try to look at. So these are so many tools that are there that you can try to look at threat intelligence and threat analysis. So there are these Tor Ghost, Tor Flow. Many of these tools are there where you can try to, and we are coming up slowly. We will come up with a list of tools where they can be used, what they will give up, and what best you can try to get, how close you can get, right? So there are various challenges to the law enforcement, because anonymity you have to break if you really want to. So the strength of Tor is anonymity, but if you want to really find some cyber criminals, you need to find out how you can try to unfurl their anonymous this thing. Jurisdiction, encryption. Jurisdiction it spans multiple countries. A lot of strong encryption is there. Many tools are coming up. Maybe we not be able to use quantum, but the Tor people will be using quantum early than us, and they will have an edge over us. Right? Digital evidence, the data privacy, all these issues that are there, and the legal frameworks are there where even if we catch somebody, we need to really do that. Cross-border cooperation, as I told, geographical boundaries, limitations are there. A lot of people can use multiple identities and then hack it, so it's very difficult that way also. So where do I get this information? I've already discussed some of the tools here mentioned, right? The Onion, DIR, AMIA, hidden services directories, hack forces, dark code, right? Communities are there, Alphabet, and all some marketplaces you can look at, right? So you can look at some of these sites so that you can understand where it goes, some of the communication platforms, how Telegram is used for this communication, and it's sometimes very surprising. And metadata and artifacts are there, and scans are there, crawlers are there. So all these things work together, right? So some of this information that you can try to get, and these are some commercial links where you can get some of those things like Viagra or cell phones or Bitcoin, and then hackers for hire, fake ID store. So you have a lot of these things, Bitcoin anonymity and hidden wikis sites and all. In MNIT, what we did was a few of the BTech students, they had developed a Tractor a couple of years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago, before pandemic, I think. Tractor was developed, then Tor Shield was developed. Then we have recently set up a hidden service and developed, deployed it on dark web. Not much content, general content is there, but then we have not yet started offering any service which attracts traffic actually. Network simulation we could do using a tool called Chutney, Tor Chutney. So you can set up a private Tor on a single system and see how it works, right? So that's something that you can try to look at. We are trying to set up honeypots for collecting, so that we'll be part of the darknet framework, and then we'll see some traffic that's coming in. A production honeypot, we will keep it for cyber threat intelligence, right? Then we also monitor a simulated Onion site, so that we'll see what is the traffic that comes in. This is something that's going on, right? And then we're also looking at some of the dark web marketplaces and communication, how to get ahead that. Also, we want to do a little bit of forensics, try to collect as many artifacts as possible, as much evidence as possible, and see if we can try to contribute to the dark web forensics. One of the PhD student is working on dark web forensics. One of the MTech student recently has completed, and he was doing it basic hidden services, the building of the network and setting up the network. So another MTech student is starting now. So we'll see how it goes. And we want to set up a private Tor network physically, not on a single machine, not a simulated one, but a physical network which follows all the principles and practices. Maybe over on a 20 machines we want to set up. So that's one thing. Looking at how to become a very popular Tor node is where you inflate your bandwidth and become popular, right? So that's what we're looking at. Learning OSINT tools, open source intelligence tools, how they will be able to fetch us more information about the Tor network, and this thing like Maltego, Hunchly, and OnionWho. Some of these tools will try to do that, and we can also use for user profiling to get hold of some of the information about the attacker. Maybe we may not be able to know everything, but at least we can try to find out if he makes mistakes, he or she makes mistakes. So that's something that we can look at. So there's a lot of scope in dark web. Nobody is working in India. It's a difficult area and it's challenging, but many law enforcement people will be interested to work with you, though they may not openly tell you. You may not be able to publish some of the things that they will give you, but then it's a real challenge for a country because very few people are working. And if dark web really tries to humiliate India, we'll be at a loss. There may be many people who are contributing to dark web and Tor protocol building of these networks from other countries who are Indians staying in other countries, but I'm not sure how many Indians staying in India are thinking about it. Many may be using, but that ratio may be very, very, very less. So there is a need for that and to do ethical hacktivism, that is what I would call it. So you need to understand how the things go on, what the things are happening. And that's where I would encourage most of you to think about these things and take it forward, right? So these are some points that I looked at and some of the references. So if you have any questions quickly, I would like to answer.
Thank you, sir. It's really very nice session and informative session. Is my voice clear, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, it's really like after attending session, it's just an eye-opening session. And a lot of things I learned new. And the dark web is really, we have also used, but in this aspect there are a lot of things it can be utilized in the positive and negative both aspects. So it's really I'd like to attend this session. It's very, thanks for this informative session, sir. And participants, if you are having any query, you're willing to ask any query, please. Anyone, if you are having any query. Okay, so sir, thanks a lot for this wonderful session, and it's really very worthful to attending this session. And a lot of things I think that I should go in deep. It's like a deep dark web. Yes, sir. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
my only desire was that.
I would like to thanks on the behalf of MIT University, Rajasthan. And thanks for your precious time. You have given us a lot of precious knowledge, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So I will exit, ma'am. I hope there are no more questions.
Is there anyone having any question? You are free to ask. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to
thank you.
attend your session. Yes, sir. Thank you. So, good morning all. So let me start with the our technical session. I would like to share my screen. So I would like to introduce our session chairs. So the first session chair, Professor Dr. S. Chandrasekaran. I would like to get an introduction for the sir. Dr. S. Chandrasekaran sir has completed his BE degree in the Electronics and Communication Engineering from Coimbatore Institute of Technology, University of Madras in the year of 1980, and completed his master in the Computer Science and Engineering from Regional Engineering College, Trichy, NIT, India. He has awarded PhD degree by the Anna University in the area of fault tolerance computing toward reliability and enhancement in the year 2004. Sir has rendered his academic and research services while working as a dean and the professor as the academic and research at various engineering institute and technical university in the department of the computer science and engineering and IT. Sir has been professional member in the various technical establishments like IEEE, ACM, IETE, IACSIT, IA Engineering, WSEAS, WASET, and ASQ. Sir has published more than 120 technical papers in reputed conferences abroad and published 30 journal papers which are indexed in SCI and IEEE. Sir is active research focus on the formal modeling, designing verification, software designing, maintenance, along with the software quality like reliability, safety, security, privacy, and embedded software and automated hardware. I would like to welcome Sir. Thank you for being a session chair. Next, I would like to introduce our next session chair. Welcome, sir, Dr. Utkat Mitra, sir. I would like to introduce Dr. Udlak Mitra, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Sorry. Udlak Mitra, sir. Dr. Udlak Mitra, sir. Sir has done the PhD in the computer science and engineering. Sir has the MTech CSE. Sir has worked 5 years as the assistant professor in the Bengal College of Engineering, Durgapura, West Bengal. Sir has worked 1 year as the assistant professor in the Amit University, Rajasthan. Sir is currently working in the assistant professor Siliguri Institute of Technology, Siliguri, West Bengal. Sir has various SCI index journal papers and some Scopus journal papers also. Sir has various conference papers in the international conferences. Sir's in area of interest is bioinformatics, machine learning, and deep learning. Sir, it's an honor to you be present here. So I would like to welcome Dr. S. Chandrasekharan, sir, and Dr. Udlak Mitra, sir. So welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So now I would like to take the permission from our session chair. Shall we start the session, sir?
Sure.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So I would like to call the first one participant. And the participant, I would like to provide you some of the information that you should start your video during the presentation. Okay, and please be in the time, like a specific time you have to complete your presentation. Please take 8 minutes for presentation and 5 minutes for questioning. So the first one participant I would like to call Pradeep Kailash Patil. So Pradeep Kailash Patil.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Sir, okay. Welcome, sir. And sir, you can share your presentation and please carry on. Thank you, sir.
I'm not able to share my screen because you are in a presentation.
Yes, sir. I'm doing, sir. Now you can share, sir.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Is it visible to you?
Sir, it is visible, but it should be in the presenting mode, sir.
Because it is the means I made it in the PDF form. That's why.
Okay, so it is not like a full screen, sir. Can you make it full screen? It's a presentation mode. Okay.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible, sir. Yes. Sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Shall I start? Shall I start, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Start, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good morning to all the eminent dignitaries and research scholars present over here. I am Pradeep Patil, a PhD research scholar at Amity University, Rajasthan, Jaipur. First of all, I would like to thank my guide, Dr. Rishi Devangan, and co-guide, Dr. Hemant Dawar, for guiding me to the best throughout my research. And I would also like to express my great gratitude towards the panelists, organizers, and convener of this conference for providing me this opportunity to present my research work in front of you all. The title of my research work is, sorry, the research paper is Experimental Investigation of Zinc Oxide and Titanium Dioxide Nanocomposite Particles in a Domestic Refrigerator. In the modern world, refrigeration systems are more crucial than ever to ensuring that people can work or live in the comfortable environment. The primary cause of this are global warming, rising temperature, and high living standard, especially in emerging or the developing countries. The domestic refrigerator is a popular household appliance which transfers the heat from inside to the external environment, so that the inside of the refrigerator is cooled to a temperature below the room temperature. This paper presents an experimental investigation of domestic refrigerator using the tetrafluoroethane as a working fluid with a different concentration of composite nanoparticles. The composite nanoparticles were dispersed in the base lubricant. Here we are using the base. I am using the base lubricant as a mineral oil and prepare three different samples like 0.3, 0.5, and 0.7 gram per liter of the nanocomposite particles in a base lubricant. And the performance were compared with the mineral oil. The experimental investigation shows that the thermal conductivity of refrigerant-based nanofluid is higher than that of the conventional refrigerant. The objectives of my research work are as follows. First objective of my research work is to investigate the performance of nanolubricant in a vapor compression refrigeration system having the tetrafluoroethane, that is the R134A refrigerant. And second objective to determine the thermophysical properties of nanolubricant at different compositions and the temperature. Now I will discuss about the detailed research methodology of the study that I have incorporated in my research work. The basic and the most important step during the study of the nanolubricant is its preparation process, as it affects the stability and properties of the nanolubricant. Preparation of the nanolubricant requires some special methods for uniform and stable solution and less sedimentation problem. The zinc oxide and titanium dioxide nanoparticles of different sizes were procured from the Add Nanotechnologies Private Limited, and the thermophysical properties of zinc oxide and titanium dioxide nanoparticles used are shown in this table. And this is the properties of the zinc oxide as well as the description of zinc oxide nanoparticles. Similarly, the titanium dioxide nanoparticles properties and the description. Then, in the current study, three different samples with the nanolubricant concentration of 0.3, 0.5, and 0.7 gram per liter were made from the 1 liter of mineral oil. Each of the nanoparticles was weighted using a digital weighing balance with a measuring range of 0.001 to 110 gram. The mineral oil was mixed with the composite nanoparticles at a different concentration, that is the 0.3, 0.5, and 0.7 gram per liter. The composite nanolubricants was then held at a room temperature on a manual stirrer for the 60 minutes with a speed range of 100 RPM to improve the homogeneity of the nanoparticles dispersion within the lubricant. The nanoparticles are blended in a lubricant oil with a different concentration with the help of manual stirrer, then using an ultrasonication process for proper mixing and a separation of bonding of nanoparticles in the lubricants. Experimental procedure and the condition. The experimental setup includes the vapor compression and refrigeration system, which consists of a compressor, condenser, evaporator, and a calculated loop. The system was charged with a refrigerant R134A and the mineral oil with a different concentration using a charging line attached with the system. The total system is kept in adiabatic room temperature, which is maintained at 29 degrees Celsius. The experiments are conducted for a tetrafluoroethane refrigerant with a 4 different composition of nanocomposite particles in a mineral oil as a lubricant. The performance of the refrigerator is first measured using the tetrafluoroethane along with the mineral oil as a lubricant, and the readings are noted at -17 degrees Celsius exterior temperature and 29 degrees Celsius surrounding temperature. The experiment involves the measurement of the temperature and pressure of the compressor, condenser, and evaporator. The power consumption rate of the compressor was determined by using or by noting the time taken by the digital energy meter for 10 kV. After that, the system is evacuated with the help of the vacuum pump running for the 3 hours and charged with the help of charging system for every test samples. Means here I am preparing the nine nanometrical samples, and we are taking the test for each and every samples. For that, after taking the first test, we are cleaning the our setup to the vacuum cleaner. And this is the test setup, and these are the parameter and experimental base of this test setup. The comparison of performance of system at a steady state are discussed, which is shown in the figure, and the figure shows the result of cool down time of tetrafluoroethane in the base lubricant and composite nano-lubricant concentration. Basically, the cool down time of the refrigerator system is the time required for the evaporator air temperature to achieve the desired steady state condition. The following figure shows that for the 50, 60, and 70 gram of tetrafluoroethane with a 0.2 gram per liter of composite nano-lubricant offers the lowest cool down time. However, for every mass charge of tetrafluoroethane, the composite nano-lubricant concentrations offer a lower evaporator air temperature with the shorter cool down time compared to the base lubricant. So you can observe the lowest cool down time here in this graph. These are the reading, or this graph shows the effect of nano-lubricant concentration on the cool down time for the 50 gram of mass charge, for the 60 gram of the mass charge, and for 70 gram of mass charge of the tetrafluoroethane. Now the conclusion. Based on the experimental performance of the vapor compression system, the following conclusions were made for the use of composite nano-lubricant concentration in vapor compression. The composite nano-lubricant concentration of 0, 0.3, 0.5, and 0.7 gram per liter offers a lower evaporator air temperature and power consumption throughout the experiment. Therefore, it is considered as a substitute for pure mineral oil in the refrigeration system working with the tetrafluoroethane. These are the references of my research paper. Thank you. Any questions?
Mr. Pradeep, I have an advice for you.
Yes, sir.
Please do not write too much content in your slide. Okay, you are just reading those slides. So just put the important points and explain.
Okay. Next time I will keep in mind this.
Is there any computational approach you have applied in your research?
Yes, I applied that computational part in my research, but that was included in my another paper. I mean, this is my first paper. Means in this paper I used the different nanoparticles, and in the next paper I used the graphene oxide and checking the performance of the refrigerator. Means what is the power consumption, what is the refrigeration effect, what is the cool down time for that nano-lubricant concentration.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So if anyone else having any query can ask. Any of the participant, if you are having any query, you can ask. So thank you, sir. Now I would like to call the next participant, Ms. Surbi. Ms. Surbi Sharma. Are you ready for presentation?
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Your voice is clear. You can share and you can start the presentation.
Okay, I'll share my screen.
Yes. Ma'am. Yeah. So, ma'am, make it full screen. Yes.
Yes, ma'am, it is full screen. Now it is visible to you.
Yes, yes, it is perfectly visible. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
a very warm good evening to all
Make
the
your video
panelists.
on.
Just a minute.
Yes.
I think as I'm visible to you. Now I have to start.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Please start.
Okay.
Your
Yes, a very warm good morning to all
your
the
video is
panelists.
not visible, ma'am.
My video is not visible. Just a minute, I'll check again.
Yes.
I'm on my video and audio and
Yes, now it is visible. Yes, ma'am. So
visible.
it was there, but now again. Yes, no, yes.
I think ma'am, it is visible right now.
Yes, it is perfect now. Ma'am. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. A very good morning to all the panelists and organizers and all the participants present here. I'm Shilpi Sharma, a research scholar, Vanaspati Vidyapeeth, Mumbai. I have to present my research paper on translate English plain text into Hindi using transfer-based NLP model. My paper ID is 23, and my co-author is my guide, Dr. Rishi Joshi from Vanaspati Vidyapeeth. So just I have to introduce about the topic. As there is a machine translation is not a new topic in the research area. It is the started in the era of 1940 to 1960, but the machine translation is the new topic right now because it introduced the many advantages by using the machine learning, deep learning, and artificial intelligence model to use for making a research both respective and find the accuracy of the translation. So I'm using the neural machine translation model, which is more accurate rather than other models, and the association of transformer model can generate a accuracy over the parallel corpus. So just I have to introduce. These are the table of contents of my presentation. First, I have to introduce the topic, then challenges of machine translation, objective of the proposed work. We have some proposed methodology, result analysis, and conclusion, then references. Now, I have introduced the topic. The machine translation is a subfield of AI and computational linguistics, but it focuses on automated translation of text or the speech from one language to another. So the translation is not the new thing, but the translation with low resource language is the core concept right now. And the primary goal of translation is to enable the communication and understanding between peoples who speak different languages. Thereby breaking down the languages barrier, we have to introduce the concept of neural machine translation. As the already existing model of machine translation, that we have some of the rule-based machine translation, corpus-based machine translation, and hybrid machine translation. Corpus-based machine translation is further classified as example-based as a statistical model. So the classification is defined as data. Now we have to introduce the machine translation. The neural machine translation, which is in a branch of artificial neural network, and where we have to define the recurrent neural network and later on the transformer architecture, and they can generate and leading the translation as the model is excel in capturing the complex linguistic relationship. Thus, we have the low resource languages and identify the linguistic relationship is a complex issue. So we have to go with the neural machine translation model with using the transformer concept. And now the long range, if you have the long range dependency in the text and the constructual meaning is not understandable by the existing model, so the model will generate these things in an easier way, and the result of the translation in the quality of the result is more far better rather than the existing previous models. And the approach of transformer is defined by using the transformer in our translation model, it can we will use the self-attention mechanism to translate the English text into Hindi, and the model enabling the context over long distance and improve the translation accuracy. So just like we have the Google's BERT model and OpenAI GPT, these model influenced by the concept of NLP. So we have proposed the model by using the concept of transformer. We have some as the challenges in machine translation, that language ambiguity, because language a human being can understand the multiple meanings of the sentence, but machine can only be targeted by one sentence. So cross interpretations and multiple interpretations not understand by the machine. Another issue with the idiomatic expressions, if we have to translate any idioms and cultural specific expressions, so machine it is harder for machine to understand. Some have the low resource languages, just like languages have the insufficient training data. Just like I have worked with the Hindi language, so Hindi language have a long vocabulary as well as Hindi have a long grammar, but the resources provided for Hindi when we are working with the models, it is very low. So due to the lack sufficient training data and accurate translation, it is also the reason of it is also the reason of accuracy of translation generated by NMT models. Domain adaptation, some of the languages translation models are technically weak, and the adaptation of the model requires a lot of specific domains. If we have the specific domain, then the accuracy of translation is far better. And another is the post editing, because the human interpreted sentence will be easily adapted by the another person's, and the interventions of human is easy. But when we have to go with the machine translation, it is hard to understand by the machine. So these are the common reasons how we have to propose work. So primary objective to employ the transformation-based neural machine translation, where we have to translate the English plain text into Hindi, and it can facilitate the accurate, contextually relevant, and fluent in language conversion between the two languages. So the translation generated by the model is the high-quality translation, as we have to understand the accuracy of model will so our model will generate the accurate result rather than any other models. Contextual understanding, model will understand the contextual meaning of the sentence, which will be converted translated into English to Hindi. Another issue is the handling low range dependency, because as I worked with the Hindi language, so Hindi language is a low resource language, so low range dependency will be defined by using the self attention mechanism, and it can be provided a long range dependency in the text, and it can ensure the connections between the distinct words or phrases in the sentence, and it can maintain the quality of translation as well. Efficiency is speed by using the transformation model or model, because transformer model will work with the parallel corpus, so it can generate the efficient and speedy result, as well as it reduce the human intervention. Just like these are the proposed model for English to Hindi. We have defined the model by using the POS tagging. So POS tagging is used to define the tagging in the part of speech tagging. When we have the corpus and we have to identify the corpus, then making the translation, we have to apply the tagging for after pre-processing the data, and it can be defined on the basis of part of speech. Just like we have some nouns in the sentence, verbs in the sentence, adjectives in the sentence, other rest of the things will be defined on that basis. Another thing, just like I have one example, the cat was seated on the mat. It is an English sentence, but it would be converted into translated into Hindi. So the is the determiner, cat is a noun, sat is verb on preposition, and the another determiner, and mat is a noun. So when we have to tag these in Hindi language, it will be defined by using the POS tagger, Billy, mat par baithiye. So the meaning of the sentence will be defined by using the tagging, because it can be it can be defined the relationship in between the individual word, and it is defined on the basis of part of speech tagger. Another approach is n-gram. N-gram is used to define the continuous collection of n-words of the given text samples. N-gram is used to simulate the relationship between words in the source or target language during the machine translation, and extensive corpus of parallel sentence in the source and destination language would be used to train an n-gram model. Just like we have the sentence, any sentence will be targeted by n-gram. N-gram, if we have considered the one word of the sentence, it will be 1 gram. When we have two, taking the reference of two words in the sentence, it will be defined as a bigram, trigram.
Can you please start your own work?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So this is the proposed model. So these are the component of proposed model. I've implemented the model in the. I have implemented this model, and these are the tools we have to use for the translation. Now model will be translated by using the transformer, and transformer model will define. I have done the work in the Google Colab where I am using the transformer model, and model will be defined by using the parallel corpus of Indian English data set, and by using the self-attention mechanism.
Is your system is working completely?
Yeah, sir.
Is your system is working? That is, if I put some English text, is it possible to translate it into Hindi?
So your voice is not audible. Please repeat again.
Sure. Is it system is working?
Yes, my system is working.
So if I put some text in English, is it possible to use your system to translate it from English to Hindi?
Yes, sir, my system is translated.
Can you show it?
So just have to run in the Colab, and the code will take a lot of time to run it. Right now, it's I have to. If I have to
My question is, I do have a system like Google Translate. I think what you know that. So what is the reason that I will use your system rather than using Google Translation? What is the advantage?
So your question is that you are why you are not using the Google Translator, existing Google Translator, and why you are using our model, proposed model. I think it is your question.
No, I am asking you, suppose you have implemented this system.
So your voice is not audible, as I am not understand what you want to ask.
Now am I audible?
It's a little bit low. As I have 100% of my.
Sir, your voice is clear, sir.
Voice is clear, but it is very low sounding.
Yes, sir, you repeat. You just tell me question. I can also repeat, sir.
My question is, why should I use the system that she has developed? What is the advantage?
Ma'am, what is the advantage of your work, which you have utilized?
Yeah. Existing models have worked with an efficient way, but the models will translate the accuracies of model because existing model have all the advantage to translate. As this time we have used the Google Translator, and it can translate English sentence to Hindi, but each and every work is not as 100% accuracy. So we have to try it with the machine translation model. And this model will be translate the plain text. That means the complexity of, if the sentence have the complex, it cannot be generated as complex result, but the text is plain. So the word-to-word translation is not done by the sentence. The translation is the meaningful rather compared to the other existing translator.
So is there any comparative result in your paper?
Is there any comparative result in your papers, ma'am?
No, sir, I have to show the result, but it will take some time to show on Colab.
So you don't include it in your paper?
No, right now I'm not included in the paper.
So are you guessing that your system is will work
no, sir,
better
I'm not guessing. I've counted on the basis of the accuracy I've received by using these models. But I'm not guessing that the model will be more accurate. Just I have to make the multiple testing for that. And after that, I assured that the model will, in comparison, I have not mentioned any comparative study in my research.
Can you please zoom your screen so that I can see?
Yeah, sir. So just I am showing the accuracy of the model right now, but I have not compared it to the existing model. I have to make comparison with the existing model. Then I will assure that my model is best working rather than existing translators. I'm not mentioning any comparison here. So firstly, I have to
So
ensure
there is no comparison in your paper at this moment.
right now I am not mentioning any kind of comparison. So these are the result analysis which I have performed by using the transformer model as well as using the attention mechanism using NMT model. And this can show that the model with the NMT attention mechanism will generate a better result as comparison to the existing transformer model. So I've compared with only the data set which I chooses for the translation. I have not compared with the existing translation models. So these are the conclusions. The transformer-based NMT model excels the capturing the intricate relationship and dependency, and it can present in the source English text the result in translation, which is natural as compared to other translation, and it is coherent in target Hindi languages. By using the transformers parallel processing capabilities, proposed model contribute to the efficient and the timely relationship, timely translation and facilitating the real-time communication across languages. The future of machine translation hold the existing prospects, including the continued advancement in neural network architecture and potential breakthroughs in handling the low resources language like Hindi, Sanskrit. As technology advances and machine translation will likely to continue to play a crucial role in bridging the linguistic divides and fostering the global communications. So these are the references. Thank you. Any more questions, sir?
No question from my side.
So, okay, so thank you for your presentation. It's a nice presentation. If any of the participants having any query, you can ask. So, sir, shall we start the next one?
Thank you,
Sure,
ma'am.
madam.
Thank you, sir. We'll start next one, sir.
Sure, madam. Please.
Okay. So, I would like to call the next participant, Mr. Kailash Bhosle, sir.
Yes, good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir. So, sir, you can share your presentation and you can continue with your presentation. Kindly be the time adherent, 8 minutes for the presentation and 5 minutes for the questioning.
Okay. Is the screen visible, madam?
Yes, sir. Screen is perfectly visible, sir.
Okay. Good morning, all. So, my
So,
topic.
sir, can you make your video on, sir?
And this
Yes,
paper,
yes. Yes, it is visible, sir. Yes.
We have considered the real world issue with the production planning optimization problem of the soap finishing line. This line is a parallel line flow shop problem. This problem actually is a parallel line flow shop problem with the multiple products and stages. So we have considered the problem as a mixed integer non-linear programming method we have used. It's taken into consideration while developing the mathematical model for this issue. So a week duration is considered for the planning period of the production line. Every product's demand for the coming week is already known. The demand of the product is known to us. There are 3 finishing lines with the 12 different items which are to be produced from these lines. The aim is taken into consideration is to we have to reduce the amount of material flow, which includes the sum of processing time, setup time, and recycle time. The plant's capacity is seen as a constant for the planning purpose. So it is a planning production planning problem plus the scheduling problem. So we have considered that the real world problem of the soap finishing line. So this is the layout of the soap finishing line. First, we get the product to be mixed in the mixer, then goes to the simplex powder, then duplex powder, then duplex vacuum powder. This is the finishing. This is the layout of the finishing line. Then cutter, then stamping machine. Then from the stamping machine, we have 2 wrapping machines and 2 packaging lines. So these are the they are producing the 45 gram soap, 75 gram soap, and 25 gram soap. there are 3 lines and all the lines having the different production rate. So accordingly, these are the production rates are varying. This is the weekly demand of all the products. There are 12 products are there. This is the color, then size and their demand. So when you want to solve the problem, as the problem is a very complex, so how many solutions can be possible? So we have find out that with the help of this formula, 3.35 into 10⁹ solutions can be there. And out of that, we have to find out the optimum solution. So it is not a simple work. So accordingly, the number of solutions are very hard. So this become due to this one, the problem will become complex and NP hard. So for that purpose, we have to use one either MATLAB or something simplex optimization. So in this case, we have considered the simplex optimization for solving the problem. So we have formulated the mathematical model for this one. We have considered processing time, then setup time, the cycle time, then what is the total. We have to find out the completion time. So these are the three parameter. One process time is there, setup time and the cycle time. These are the parameter are considered to calculate the total completion time. Constant we have taken as the total available time. The optimum solution, we have taken the solution from the industry, what they are doing. So they are following the thumb rule for allocating the product on the various lines, whereas we have used the simplex solver to find out the answer. And when we use the simplex solver, we got the total output as the metal flow time, that is total completion time for our simplex solver. It gives the 8087.64 minutes, whereas they are following the some thumb rule, and their time was 8183.57. So there is a around 100 minutes saving is there when you use the simplex solver. So this is the Gantt chart. Gantt chart also showing. So we can also see that whatever the allocation is there on all the 3 lines, it is the same, similar. So this can be also say that all the lines were balancedly allocated, and we can complete the production in the separate time. And in the remaining time, they can also produce the remaining demand in that week also. So the conclusion is that we can use the simplex optimizer. Simplex optimizer is useful to solve the integer programming problems like this. So these are the references we have considered. Thank you, sir.
So, okay, thank you, sir. Nice presentation. Sir, queries, sir? Questions, sir?
No, I don't have. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir.
So I'm having one question, sir. Bhosle, sir.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Sir, this particular model which you have explained here, have you implemented, sir?
Yes, actually, we have implemented the same, and we have published one paper in the SCI journal also. This is the work. This is the initial stage work. So that one we have only considered 3 points, but later on we added some other points also, and then we have prepared formulated the model, and then we have find out the solution with the GA also and DABC also. This is the preliminary work. We have just used the simplex solver and then find out the answers.
So I think it's really good model. So what do you think of in the future, sir? You are adding something more in future?
Yes, yes. We have given the solution to the company also. The solutions were created with the help of the Excel also, and they are implementing the same on their plant.
Okay, so thank you, sir. So there is one more paper you are having, sir.
Yes, sir.
So can you start that one also?
Yes, madam. Madam, can you check the name, madam? Prediction of welding parameters of AISI 304.
One minute. Yes, sir. So the paper is, sir, prediction of the welding parameter PF AISI 304 steel by fuzzy logic.
Yes, sir. So here we have conducted one is a project on the welding parameters of the AISS steel, and we can also predict the same. So first we have conducted the tensile test on that welded parts, and we have find out the tensile strength
Sir,
with help.
the presentation, sir, your presentation is not shared, sir.
Okay, I
For your
see.
next paper, there it is a presentation. Currently, your previous presentation is there, sir.
Right now.
Not yet, sir, actually. You have to share it again, sir. You just stop sharing and then share again. Yes, sir. So now, sir, make full screen, sir.
Is this visible, madam?
Yes, it is visible, sir.
So we have used the resistance spot welding. So resistance spot welding is getting significant importance in the manufacture of the car, buses, railway bodies, etc. due to the automatic and fast processes. Major factors controlling this process are current, time, electrode force, property of the electrode material and sheet metals. Their surface condition also having the great impact. The quality of the base judge is based by the nugget size and the joint strength. So we have considered the two parameter, output parameter like nugget size of the weld and the joint strength. So we have conducted the experiment on the two metal sheets having the dimension of 170 millimeter. In order to understand the effect of the various welding parameters on the tensile strength of the welded joint, preliminary experiments were carried out. Sheets of the 100 millimeter by 30 millimeter by 1 millimeter was considered for welding of the lap joint. So this figure is showing the arrangement of the sheet to be joined. We have used the electrode of use were copper and chromium having the 6 millimeter diameter. The input parameters we have taken like electrode pressure, current, and weld time. So these are there are three levels we have considered: low, medium, and high. We have considered the Taguchi method. So according to Taguchi method, based on the robust design, L27 orthogonal arrays employed for the experimentation. Total 27 runs were experienced based on the randomized orthogonal array were done. Current, weld time, and electric force was varied as per the values for each level mentioned in the above table. 3 responses are taken for each setting. So this is the table showing the experimental data. First, input parameters are electric force, current, and weld time. So the output parameter are tensile strength and the tensile strength. First, fifth number column is tensile strength experiment calculated by conducting the experimental experiments on the UTM machine, and last column is showing the tensile strength, which is predicted by the MATLAB. So this is the formula we have used to find out the tensile strength of that material. So that to find out the tensile strength, a tension test was carried out on the welded specimens. In this test, the size of the weld button is measured. What is the size of the weld button? And the production welds are acceptable if measured button size is equal or greater than the standard weld size. So this is the failure pattern of the tensile strength. Normally, before deciding the levels, we have to just weld the material with some force, random value. If the weld joint is good enough, like shown in the B value, B value, then that is taken as a low value, and then after that we can select the medium input level and the higher input level. If the weld joint shown in the A type, then it is showing that the what are the parameters we are selecting, they are not enough to for the welding purpose. So these are the failure patterns for this welded joints. So we have implemented the fuzzy logic. Fuzzy logic is one of the best, most successful application of the fuzzy set. It is a major feature is the use of linguistic variables rather than the numerical values. So we can use the variables like low, medium, high. So linguistic variable defined as variables whose values are sentences in natural languages. So normally we use in the day-to-day life also low, medium, high may be represented by the fuzzy sets. Fuzzy sets are the characterized by fuzzification, membership functions, and fuzzy role. an inference system, and the defuzzification inference. So fuzzy logic controller, in this one we have the fuzzifier, which converts the input like current, time, and force data into the suitable linguistic values. The knowledge based on linguistic definitions and control rule set. The decision-making logic, which infers the fuzzy control action from the knowledge of the control rules and the linguistic variables definitions. A defuzzification control action, they are deduced from the infer fuzzy control action. So this is the working of the fuzzy logic method. We have to first set the rules. Then the Chris input is given to the fuzzifier. Then it sends the fuzzy input set to the fuzzy inference system. Then it goes to the fuzzy output set, and again the defuzzifier is done, and we get the Chris output. So these are the output parameter. So output parameter is divided into 5 levels, like very low, low, medium, high, and very high. So we have to give the input membership functions. We have given the membership function for the input parameter like dwell time, the neutral pressure, and current. We have divided the input parameter into 3 levels, and we calculated the output. We have divided the output parameter into 5 levels, like very low, low, medium, high, and very high. So these are we have to give the rules first from the input parameter and output parameter relationships. We have to give the rules in the rules for the fuzzy sets, and we can also view the output of this one on the rule viewer. Suppose that first column is showing the dwell time at the medium level. Electrode force is showing at the red line is showing at the middle level. The current is also middle level. And then what is the value? What will be the value of the output one? So last one is showing the output one. So output will be on the middle values. So we can also see the 3D graph of this experiment. And finally, we got this some experimental data is there, like run number 10. Dwell time is set as second middle level. Pressure is at 1 level. Current is at 1 level. We got the value as 3810. Experimental value is 3810, whereas the predicted value with the help of this fuzzy logic, it is 3900. Also means whatever the experimental value we have conducted, they are also getting same when we predict with the help of the fuzzy logic. So it concludes that whatever the fuzzy logic is an excellent technique which can be applied for the optimization of the welded parameter like this one. By providing some input value, all other output values can be predicted. So these are some references. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So, okay, thank you, sir. Nice presentation. Sir, question, sir?
Oh, very nice presentation, Mr. Kailas.
Thank you, sir.
So, any query from any participant? Okay, sir, I'm having one question
Yes,
in my
madam.
mind that you have utilized that fuzzy logic. Okay, so can we utilize with some another algorithm?
Like which, madam?
You have utilized that algorithm. We can take another also.
Yes, madam. Anything can be possible. We have to just know how we have to just set the levels, low level, medium, and input, and just first we have to set the rules. By giving the rules, we can get the output of the any problem, madam.
So what will be the future of this? Like anything you willing to add, or what you think that?
But first you must know what is the input parameter and what is the relationship between output parameter. So with the help of freshers cannot be do this one. You should have some experience of that any problem. Then that can be solved with the help of the fuzzy logic and MATLAB.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So the next participant I would like to call Naresh Kumar. Mr. Naresh. Mr. Naresh Kumar. So, Mr. Naresh Kumar, are you ready for presentation now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you, okay, your video, fine, sir. So your video is not proper, sir. Adjust the camera, sir.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Naresh Kumar, and
Camera, please adjust the camera, sir.
Is it fine, ma'am?
Little more, sir. Little more. Little more, sir.
Is it fine, ma'am?
Sir, for 1 minute, if you can do little more.
Ma'am, actually, I shot this.
Okay, okay, sir. No problem, sir. Okay, yes, sir. Carry on, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Naresh Kumar, and I'm research scholar at MIT University. And my research guide is Dr. Chitresh Banerjee, and my co-guide is Dr. Meenu Bala. She's from GGM Science College, Jammu. And my research topic is performance evaluation of blockchain food supply chain management system. And
Mr. Naresh, I have a question that Dr. Banerjee is associate professor. Is correct?
okay, sorry, sir, sorry. Sir, it is visible my second slide?
Sir, could you make it full screen in the presentation mode, sir? In the presentation, F5, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Digital food supply chain management system has emerged a critical element in today's world as food supply chain growing increasingly a global element, and it becomes more important, especially in security in the food supply chain management system. The blockchain integrated supply chain management system in JKB FMS helps to streamline process and reduce costs associated with the targeting and verifying transactions by providing the greater transparency visibility. JKFBS is a government department, that is Jammu Kashmir Food Supplies Department, which is the one of the most oldest department in Jammu and Kashmir. And the purpose of the department is to providing foods to the beneficiaries of the Jammu and Kashmir, especially for the who primarily belongs to BPL and other categories like BPL and WY. And additionally, it helps to reduce fraud and increase and reduce the risk of human error. Furthermore, blockchain supply management create an immutable record for transaction, allowing to improve and data accuracy and better decision making. However, implement such a transparent system requires a comprehensive evaluation of its performance to ensure its effectiveness and ideal areas of enhancement. And the main objective of my research purpose is system design using implementation of ration distribution system in the unit territory of Jammu and Kashmir, so that the communities distributed are tamper-proof and provide authentic and inclusive rights to consumers. And the second, to study and overcome issues such as minimal transparency, accountability, and erroneous data set between the government department pertaining to the supply management. And third one is to deploy smart contracts on blockchain so that the people can trade on the internet without the intertwined middleman, and to integrate blockchain technology for making a complete study for management of eco-friendly, transparent, and responsible intelligence systems. And we also deal with various challenges encountered during the implementation of these blockchain technologies and infrastructures. And the main primary objective of this currently paper to propose a framework for measuring the performance of JKMS to achieve best outcomes. We have optimized and incorporate performance metrics in blockchain networks, including latency, throughput, round turnaround into the evaluation process. By establishing a round performance measurement mechanism are closely monitored by the system enhancement using these frameworks. This information can be guided by making decision-making, facilitated through improvement and utilized configuration by the evaluation of digital food supply chain management in this food supply chain management domains. And the main objective of the current supply management is the PD system has potential for many applications, but it also has a number of implementations and challenges. Like due to the COVID-19, their door-to-door supply of door-to-door ration, it is very important to address these limitations and challenges. We propose a system which utilize blockchain technology. It is designed to provide a transparency and insurance quality of food grains distributed by the JKFCS and CA department in the whole unit territory. And the rating and reviews can also be stored in the off-chain blockchain systems like IPF protocols. And the contribution, the paper present in blockchain distributed online distributor systems in smart contracts. And we also use the under ERC token 20 token for secure payment systems. And IPFs are designed in off-chain currency. The performance of JKPS is compared that the conventional approaches in terms of block time, block creation time, block size, and other. This is the architecture of my JKBMS. We have already presented this architecture in previous paper presented in AII 2022 and published in AIP conference proceeding. The proposed system leverages the power of blockchain, especially integrating public intelligence and internet plugins, smart contracts, and redundancy. However, implement such a transparent system requires a comprehensive evaluation of its performance, ensuring its effectiveness and identifying the areas of. Ma'am, I have already published this research paper. Can I go to elaborate the diagram that is architecture, or move to next slide? Because I already published.
As per your understanding, if you think that is it related to that, and if it is necessary, then you can do it.
Okay. In the architecture of there is first line, that is there are 3 layers, and first layer is distributor layer. In distributor layer, distributor provide the food items to the beneficiary of the ration card, and distributor first need to register in the platform by providing some basic details, and all the details are stored in IPF protocols. Then hash key will be generated and stored in the blockchain to ensure the privacy. And next step, the food items will be uploaded on on the data storage. And similarly in the second middle layer, the Ethereum blockchain is open. As you know, the Ethereum blockchain is open source blockchain featuring is smart contract functionality and the cryptocurrency. It is also provide a virtual mechanism for decentralizing known as Ethereum blockchain machine. And the IPS protocol the IPF protocol is peer-to-peer network for storing and dating centralized mechanism. And the third layer is that is a consumer layer. In the proposed beneficiary in the consumer layer, the beneficiary first need to register their details, and they get a wallet. Through this wallet they can access their access their monthly rations and other information. And this is the performance evaluation of JKBMS. Evaluation of the JKBMS include details like simulation, setting, and evaluation metrics. And the result for varying parameters such as block creation time, block size are discussed, and performance, latency, throughput, and network capturing. And among these examinations, plots are utilized in various different cases or varying configurations. And the configuration setting, the configuration of the system used by simulation is 2-core CPU, Intel Core i5, and 8 GB memory, and 256 GB SSD with 1 GB network. And this is the basic experiment that I have used for deep understanding. Evaluation of Hyperledger platform in blockchain networks. Multiple observations are considered, The initial experiment involved contact testing for various metrics. The experiment consists of 5 rounds, and where transactions are written in ledger network. Each round consists of approximately 1,000 transactions, and the transactions are processed in different rates. Transactions are different rates at 100 to 500 transactions per second. And the performance of blockchain is indicated by the transaction time. In figure 1, the various line represents here to complete transaction successfully overcome into the network configuration, and the one network, there are like one ORG, one node, and second organization for second node, and differently. The measurement by conducting over 5 rounds. Each round has 1,000 transactions. Each round has 1,000 transactions, and approximately it reached over 4,000 transactions. Approximately reached 4,000 transactions, while the 2RG configurations and the 70 seconds time framework. These results showed that the number of organizations or node increasing the execution. The time latency, that is LT. Time latency, that is the LT, and the formula calculated for that is the LTC equal to CT and NT, and the TT represent the transaction throughput time, and CTC denote the number of transactions committed in across the networks. In figure 1C, 1B. In figure 1B, the testing using the Kepler report, the latency is measured in second and represent the second of communication between transactions are occurring successfully. Comparing the latency from 100 to 500 transactions per milliseconds, and the same mathematical formula has been also used for this particular experiment. And in the figure 1.C, the relationship between throughput and transaction rates is depicted. The graph indicates that the 70 transactions per second have been observed, and the decrease in the throughput throughput latency indicates area the improvement of enhanced overall performance and bridge between the communications. And in the second experiment with varying block time, the experiment focus on optimizing the network through manipulation of block time measurement in the configuration different outcomes. For achieving this, in the table 2 represent configuration details like the Kepler utilized experiment in that in order to minimize latency or optimization metrics were taken into consideration, in which the outcome receives approximately the minimum latency of approximately 100 to 150 in block time, and in the figure 2 display the transaction throughput showcase impact the varying block time and network policy through the committal line and transaction successful rate. Successful rate is approximately increasing, that is 1.75 times from 100 to 500 transactions per second. And their conclusion is the performance evaluation of JKVMS was carried out using the Kepler. The evaluation process involves configuration, different parameters, including a block creation time and block size, and a proposed optimized with goal of better result in terms of evaluation metrics such as network security, latency, and throughput. And the result showing is 1.57 times increase in increments compared in the initial version. Additionally, the latency on the time delay Expenses-wise, the result is obtained from performing evaluation, providing evidence of the capability of blockchain technologies. And the future scope is the research can explore additionally optimized techniques for improving the performance of current blockchain supplies management system. This could involve investigation, advanced algorithm like machine learning approaches or hybrid model that can be used for more system efficiency, and in terms of network security, latency, and other protocols that can be used. And these are the some references which I have used for my research paper. And thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, question, sir?
No question, ma'am. Thank you. Very nice presentation.
Sir, I'm having one question, sir. Sir, that you have done a lot of experiments on the blockchains, that you have taken the Ethereum as a framework. So have you implemented on the real network, or you have utilized Ganache?
Ma'am, we use simulation model. For simulation, we use Ganache and Ganache and local chain network for simulation, ma'am.
For local chain, which you have utilized, sir, software?
Ma'am, for programming, we use Solidity, and for simulation, we use Ganache and ma'am, I just.
Okay, so sir, as per you told that the block size can also be like depends. There is an experiment is based on the block size also.
Ma'am,
so,
please repeat once again, ma'am, please.
As per you told that the block size, it is depends on the block size. So can we change the block size also?
Ma'am, it depends upon the number of the data that can be stored in the transaction particular block. The size of the block is depending upon the number of transaction in it.
So we can change the size of block also, sir?
No, ma'am, we cannot change. Actually, block particular block can be created automatically through blockchain, ma'am. We cannot stick around that size of the block.
Yes, sir. That's why I'm asking that how we can change the size of the block.
Ma'am, if you send if you send a large amount of data, the block size may be increased.
So whether in the blockchain, what is it store actually? It's storing in the hash coding, sir.
Yeah, ma'am.
So we can change.
It's like a block in blockchain technology. Each block has some amount of data, and it contains a whole chain. And the next that block has the next blockchain carrying the previous link with the previous, and it contains a whole chain.
Yes, sir. So once you have done this complete performance, then which one model you feel like is better? Like is your comparison evaluation of that particular model? So is there any model you find that it is more performer?
Ma'am, I use Hyperledger Capiler, and you can use there are some other frameworks like Boros, Batho, and Aroha. You can use anyone as per your input. You can use your model which can help you for better performance. I've used Hyperledger Capiler.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Nice presentation, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else from the audience, participants, you willing to ask any query? You are free to ask, please. Okay, sir. So thank you. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So I would like to call next participant. Ms. Shweta Agarwal. So Shweta, Ms. Shweta, are you ready for presentation? So I'm calling Ms. Shweta Agarwal. Thank you, sir. So I would like to conclude the session. I would like to thank Dr. Utlak Mitra, sir. So thank you for your precious time. Here you are evaluating the session. The session is a good session and a lot of new technology concepts we have. So the presentations are also very good. So I would like to ask for the permission for conclude the session, sir.
Sure. It was a very nice session.
Yes, sir.
It was a very nice session.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. So the session will be concluded. The participant may leave the session. Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
Can I close, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
It is over for the dinner, ma'am?
Yes, it is over for the day, sir.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, sir.